It looks like there is life left for KTM, and this is coming after creditors approved KTM's restructuring plan after a vote held at the regional court in, I'm not even going to try, Upper Australia on Tuesday. Now, this is coming from a press release from Perrier Mobility saying, quote, the plan provides for creditors to receive a cash quota of 30% of their claims in the form of a one-off payment. In order to fulfill the quota of 30%, KTM AG must deposit an amount of 548 million euros with the restructuring administration by May 23rd, 2025 at the latest. The court will then confirm the restructuring plan at the beginning of June 2025, and the restructuring proceedings of KTM AG will end once it becomes legally binding. Now, obviously, 548 million euros is not exactly something to laugh at, especially when you consider they have to do it in what, 3 months? And I'm assuming if they can agree to that, that means that they have the backing, they have some sort of um, I don't know. They're not worried about it. It's not one of those things you're going to agree to and be like, oh, well, oh man, how are you going to do this? I don't know. But I mean, it's good. Obviously, KTM is a huge brand. MotoGP, motocross, supercross. Just over here in the US, you got to think how many titles they have with Ryan Dungey, all those times or all the time he was on the bike, the Cooper Webb times. And, they are a massive brand. Obviously, racing in MotoGP, not exactly the most competitive thing there, but it is what it is. All the time that Jeffrey Hurlings has been on that bike, one of the biggest names in motocross in general. And I mean, they are a massive name, a massive motorcycle company, and this is good. I mean, personally, to me, this is a good thing. You never want to see a company go out, especially the thousands of people that it employs, just in the factory side of things, but also on the racing side of things. Like all these Red Bull factory or Red Bull KTM teams, from the mechanics to the riders and everybody that's involved in it. It's a ton of money, a ton of jobs, and it's never a good thing to see a company go out. So if this works out, it's going to be a good thing. Gottfried Neumeister, the CEO, said, quote, I am grateful and happy today. KTM is back on track. Our employees have done everything over the last 3 months to ensure that the race can continue. We have closed an important chapter today, but a single chapter never tells the whole story. Now we have to continue the great story of KTM. We do it for the millions of KTM fans worldwide to whom we are grateful every day, for our racers of whom we are damn proud, and for our Austrian location to which we are deeply attached in our hearts. KTM remains one of the top employers in the Upper Austrian industry. Now, that's going to be the thing. If this can actually work, if they can find all the money that they need to, when you consider that 30% is $548 million, there's a lot of money on the back end of that. Just before, I mean, that's before they even get into 70% of the rest of their debt. That's a lot of money to find. Now, this per Cycle News saying, quote, the Alpine Creditors Association, or the AKV, said judicial confirmation depends on the 150 million euro continuation costs being deposited by May 23rd, 2025. The first amount of 50 million was placed in a trust on Monday, February 24th. In total, 750 million must be secured by the May 25th deadline. So, we'll see. I mean, obviously, they are, again, a huge brand. You got Supercross, motocross over here, MotoGP, you've got MXGP, you've got Dakar, you've got, it's a massive thing. And personally, on a side note here, I think they make one of the coolest road bikes, or some of the coolest road bikes ever. If you've ever seen an RC8, they are just incredible. The Super Duke, which is just ridiculous, an absolute monster. And it's going to be one of those things. I hope that this works. Like, personally, I hope that, all the series, all the backing, all the racing that they do, they can continue. You don't want to see them have to restructure, but to, lop off this and change that and drop this. And, you don't want to see a skeleton crew anymore, or a skeleton racing adventure, however you want to call it. You don't want to see one man teams, or, dropping out of series left and right. And hopefully they don't have to. Hopefully this is something that they can work out. Keep MotoGP going, because I know that was probably or at least from what I saw, that was the main thing that was going to be cut. I mean, it's probably the most expensive racing endeavor that they have, and that would be the first thing I'm assuming that they would lop away. Uh, to think those prototype bikes are not cheap in general. Flying around the world cannot be cheap, especially bringing those heavy bikes everywhere. And I mean, obviously they do that with MXGP, but a dirt bike is nowhere near the amount of money that a prototype MotoGP bike is. So hopefully they can continue everything. Hopefully all the series and all the riders, all the mechanics, all the people at the factories, you can all keep their jobs out of this and continue to, I don't want to say fix the problem, I don't know, whatever it is. If they can continue to make this work. But I mean, it is still a lot of money to find. If you're talking, what was it, up to $2 billion? I think at one was the last number that I saw for debt, and it's going to be a hard thing to find that kind of backing, that kind of security. And I know I saw some rumors about BMW buying them and moving the headquarters to Germany and building them in India. I don't know if that's something that's actually going to happen or how this is working, but it's a hope, because again, massive brand, tons of series that they're in, and it's going to be one of those things too that if they start lopping off racing series, like let's just say they've got to get rid of MotoGP, there is 4 really talented riders that are going to have to find another ride in a very packed field already. And yes, probably they would, because if they're a big name, you're going to get a ride over somebody who's, I don't want to say less talented, but less liked, less popular. But I don't know. Hopefully that they can this can all work out. All the restructuring actually goes through, all the money can be found. And then on the other side of this thing, whenever it actually does come to that point, they can not have this happen again. We can't get to the point where you're $2 billion in debt again. I mean, obviously, if that happens, this brand is dead. Like if they ever get to that kind of point again, nobody's gonna ever put money back into this. So let's fix the problem. Let's, whatever the reason for it was, and let's hope that no series have to go, no riders lose their job, no mechanics, no factory guys, any of that stuff. But I don't know. Comment down below. You guys tell me. Are you a KTM fan? Do you own a KTM bike? Whatever it is, comment down below. Tell me what you think while you're down there. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, do all the fun things this platform allows you to do, because it really just helped me out. I appreciate it. And with that, I'll see you later. Peace.